You did not survive because you were lucky. You survived because something inside you refused to surrender, even when everything outside of you was collapsing. There were days when waking up felt heavier than going to sleep, days when your body moved but your spirit felt far behind, dragging through doubt, disappointment, and unanswered prayers. And still you rose, not with excitement, not with hope, sometimes only with habit, sometimes only with obligation, but you rose. That alone already separates you from most people. You must understand this clearly. Life did not try to test you gently. It applied pressure exactly where you were weakest. It attacked your patience when you were already tired. It questioned your worth when you were already doubting yourself. It delayed results when you needed reassurance the most. Many people confuse survival with living, but survival is the foundation of all strength. Before you can build anything meaningful, you must first prove that you cannot be erased. You proved that. There were moments when you asked yourself silently, why me? Not out of arrogance, but out of exhaustion. You did not ask because you wanted to escape responsibility. You asked because you were carrying more than you felt prepared for. And yet, even in those moments, you continued. You showed up when no one was watching. You endured nights that taught you how loud silence can be. You learned what it means to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to escape it. That is training. That is conditioning of the soul. Most people believe strength is loud. They believe strength is dominance, control, or constant confidence. But real strength is quieter than that. Real strength is the ability to keep your inner posture upright while everything external is unstable. It is the ability to breathe slowly while your mind is racing. It is the discipline to not collapse emotionally every time life disappoints you. You learned that strength not from books, not from motivation, but from necessity. Life forced you to grow muscles you never planned to develop. Think about the times you wanted to quit, truly quit. Not the dramatic kind, but the silent kind where you simply wanted to stop trying, stop hoping, stop caring. Those moments were dangerous not because of failure, but because numbness can disguise itself as peace. And yet, something pulled you back. Maybe it was responsibility. Maybe it was faith. Maybe it was stubbornness. Whatever it was, it kept you moving forward one step at a time. Progress does not require speed. It requires direction. You never turned completely backward. You were misunderstood during this phase. People saw your silence and assumed weakness. They saw your distance and assumed arrogance or laziness. They did not see the internal battles, the constant negotiation with your own thoughts, the effort it took just to remain functional. But strength does not require witnesses. Growth does not need applause. The most important transformations happen underground, where no one can interfere. Like roots, you grew in darkness so that one day you could stand unshaken in the light. There is a particular kind of pain that comes from doing everything right and still not seeing results. That pain sharpens you. It teaches you patience without bitterness, endurance without resentment. It forces you to separate effort from outcome. You learn to work without immediate reward. That lesson alone puts you ahead of the majority. Most people only move when motivation is present. You moved when motivation was gone. That is discipline being born. When God says congratulations, it is not because the struggle was easy, but because you did not allow the struggle to turn you into something ugly. You did not let pain make you cruel. You did not let disappointment make you dishonest. You did not let delay make you desperate. You stayed aligned even when it cost you comfort. That kind of integrity is rare. That kind of endurance cannot be taught. It can only be earned through lived experience. You may not fully realize it yet, but the person you are now can handle far more than the person you used to be. Situations that once overwhelmed you now only challenge you. Problems that once paralyzed you now demand solutions. This shift did not happen suddenly. It happened gradually, quietly, over countless moments where you chose composure over collapse. You trained your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. You trained your mind to observe pain instead of becoming it. Survival refined your awareness. You learned to recognize false promises, empty encouragement, and shallow connections. You became more selective, not because you became cold, but because you became clear. Clarity is often mistaken for detachment. In truth, clarity is respect for your own energy. You no longer waste yourself on what cannot grow with you. This is not selfishness. This is wisdom earned through experience. There is dignity in surviving without bitterness. Anyone can complain. Anyone can blame. Few can endure silently and still keep their heart intact. You did that. You learned when to speak and when to conserve your words. You learned that reacting emotionally gives power to chaos, while responding calmly gives power back to you. That lesson alone will protect you for the rest of your life. You are not who you were when the struggle began. That version of you could not carry what is coming next. This is why the pressure lasted as long as it did. It was not punishment, it was preparation. Life does not reward potential, it rewards readiness, and readiness is proven through endurance. You stayed when leaving would have been easier. You continued when stopping would have felt justified. That is why the message today says congratulations. Do not rush to explain your journey to anyone. Those who did not walk with you would not understand it anyway. Your survival does not need validation. Let your future stability speak for itself. Let your calm presence become the evidence. Strength that is real does not announce itself. It simply stands firm. Remember this moving forward. If you survived what you once thought would destroy you, then you are capable of far more than you currently believe. Doubt may still visit you, but it no longer owns you. Fear may still whisper, but it no longer controls you. You have crossed a threshold internally. There is no going back to who you were before the struggle. This is why today matters. Not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because you are no longer fragile. You have been tempered, you have been tested, you have been shaped. And now, when God says congratulations, it is an acknowledgement of a quiet victory that few will ever see, but that will influence everything that comes next. Clarity does not arrive with noise. It arrives when the noise finally loses its power over you. For a long time, your life was filled with voices, opinions, expectations, comparisons, pressures, all speaking at once, all demanding attention. The world taught you to move fast, to react immediately, to chase what everyone else was chasing. And without realizing it, your mind became crowded, not with truth, but with urgency, not with wisdom, but with distraction. Today, that begins to change. There comes a moment in a person's life when confusion is no longer dramatic. It becomes exhausting. You stop asking big emotional questions, not because you found all the answers, but because you are tired of living in mental chaos. That exhaustion is not weakness. It is the beginning of clarity. When the mind can no longer tolerate noise, it starts searching for stillness. And stillness, when embraced, reveals what has always been there. You may notice that certain things no longer excite you the way they once did. Conversations that used to hold your attention now feel empty. Goals that once seemed important now feel borrowed, as if they were never truly yours. This is not loss, this is alignment. When clarity enters, illusions begin to dissolve, and illusions always resist being exposed. That resistance can feel uncomfortable, even lonely. But loneliness born from clarity is far healthier than companionship born from confusion. The mind, when undisciplined, jumps from one desire to another, believing that fulfillment is always somewhere else. But clarity teaches you a different truth. Peace is not found by adding more, but by removing what does not belong. You are no longer trying to fill a void. You are learning to protect a space where your energy is not constantly drained, a space where your thoughts can slow down enough to be observed rather than obeyed. This is why silence now feels different to you. Before, silence may have felt threatening, because in silence the mind speaks the loudest. Old fears, old regrets, old doubts rise to the surface. But you have spent enough time with yourself to recognize that thoughts are not commands. They are signals. And not every signal deserves a response. This realization alone brings immense clarity. You stop fighting your thoughts and start watching them. What you watch, you control. What you react to controls you. Clarity is not emotional numbness. It is emotional mastery. You still feel deeply, but you are no longer ruled by what you feel. You understand that emotions are temporary states, not permanent truths. This understanding allows you to pause before reacting, to choose discipline over impulse. And in that pause, your power returns. Life no longer pushes you around as easily, because you are no longer internally scattered. The world rewards speed, but clarity rewards direction. When you are clear, you move slower, but every step has intention. You no longer chase every opportunity. You choose. You no longer explain yourself unnecessarily. You conserve your words. You no longer seek approval. You seek alignment. This shift may confuse people around you. They may say you have changed. They are right. You have changed. But what they really mean is that you are no longer available for chaos. There is a quiet confidence that comes with clarity. Not the loud kind that needs to be seen, but the grounded kind that does not need to prove anything. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you believe you are perfect, but because you know you can adapt. You know that even if things do not go as planned, you will remain centered. This trust removes anxiety about the future. The future no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a responsibility you are prepared to carry. Clarity also teaches you when to let go. Not everything deserves your effort. Not everyone deserves access to you. This is one of the hardest lessons, because letting go often feels like failure. But in truth, holding on to what drains you is the real failure. You are learning that peace is not something you fight for aggressively. It is something you protect deliberately, and protection requires boundaries. Boundaries require clarity. You may notice that you speak less now. This is not because you have less to say, but because you understand the weight of words. When the mind is clear, speech becomes precise. You no longer waste energy explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You allow silence to do the work that arguments never could. This is not avoidance. This is wisdom. As clarity deepens, discipline becomes natural. You no longer rely on motivation, because motivation is unstable. You rely on routine, on structure, on principles. You do what needs to be done regardless of mood. This is not rigidity. This is freedom. When your actions are guided by clarity, you are no longer pulled in different directions by fleeting emotions. You become consistent, and consistency compounds. You also begin to see the cost of distraction. The endless scrolling, the constant comparison, the hunger for validation, all of it now feels heavy. You recognize it as noise, not nourishment. And once you see something clearly, you cannot unsee it. This is why returning to old habits becomes difficult. Not because you are forcing yourself, but because clarity has made them unattractive. Your nervous system craves calm now, not chaos. Clarity does not mean life becomes simple. It means life becomes honest. You stop lying to yourself about what you can tolerate, what you truly want, and what you are willing to sacrifice. This honesty can feel confronting, but it is also liberating. When you are honest with yourself, decisions become easier. You may still struggle, but you no longer feel lost. There is a difference between difficulty and confusion. Clarity removes confusion, not difficulty. When God brings clarity into your life, it is not to make you comfortable. It is to make you precise. Precision in thought, precision in action, precision in intention. You begin to live less reactively and more deliberately. And this deliberate way of living slowly reshapes everything: your relationships, your work, your inner dialogue. This is why today matters, because clarity has entered quietly, without announcement. And from this clarity, everything else will follow. Discipline will strengthen, focus will sharpen, peace will deepen. You are no longer moving blindly, you are moving consciously. And once consciousness is present, you cannot return to unconscious living. You may not feel excitement. That is fine. Clarity is calm, not euphoric. Calm is stable. Calm lasts. Calm builds empires internally before anything external changes. Trust this phase. Protect it. Do not rush to fill the silence with noise again. This silence is not emptiness, it is space. And in this space, the next version of you is forming. Responsibility does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, almost unnoticed, disguised as pressure. When life begins to ask more of you, it is not because it wants to burden you, but because it trusts you. Most people ask for blessings without understanding their weight. They imagine rewards as comfort, ease, and relief. But real blessings are heavier than that. They demand structure. They demand maturity. They demand restraint. This is why responsibility is given only after endurance, clarity, and discipline have been tested. There was a time when more responsibility would have overwhelmed you. Not because you were incapable, but because you were unprepared. Preparation is not about skill alone. It is about emotional stability. It is about being able to hold pressure without leaking it onto others. It is about being able to make decisions without being ruled by fear, ego, or urgency. You were being shaped for this long before you realized it. Every delay was refining your patience. Every disappointment was teaching you emotional control. Every quiet struggle was strengthening your inner posture. When God trusts you with more, He does not always give you more resources immediately. He gives you more expectation, more awareness, more accountability. You begin to notice that your actions have greater consequences now. Small choices ripple outward more than they used to. What you tolerate affects not just you, but others. What you ignore grows. What you confront transforms. This is the weight of responsibility. It requires presence. It requires attention. It requires courage. You may feel pressure increasing, but understand this clearly. Pressure is not a sign of punishment. It is a sign of elevation. Only those who are being raised to a higher level experience this kind of internal demand. Responsibility is not about controlling others. It is about governing yourself, your habits, your reactions, your impulses, your time. Freedom without self-governance becomes chaos. This is why responsibility always comes before expansion. You are being trusted with influence now, even if it is subtle. Influence does not always look like leadership in public. Sometimes it looks like emotional stability in private. Sometimes it looks like being the calm presence in a tense room. Sometimes it looks like making the right decision when no one would know if you chose otherwise. Integrity becomes heavier when responsibility increases because shortcuts are no longer harmless. They shape who you become. With responsibility comes the end of excuses. This is not harshness. This is respect. Life stops negotiating with you at this stage. It assumes you can handle the truth. It assumes you can handle the consequences of your choices. This can feel intimidating at first because excuses once provided comfort. But comfort was never meant to be permanent. Growth requires honesty, and honesty requires courage. You may notice that you are no longer satisfied with surface-level living. Entertainment without meaning feels hollow. Conversations without depth feel draining. Goals without purpose feel empty. This is responsibility refining your standards. You are no longer living just for yourself. Even if you are alone, your life carries weight. Your discipline now protects not only your future, but the future of those who will be influenced by your actions, directly or indirectly. Responsibility also demands restraint. You cannot afford to react emotionally the way you once did. You cannot afford to burn bridges out of impulse. You cannot afford to sabotage progress for temporary relief. This does not mean you suppress emotion. It means you process emotion without letting it command you. Emotional mastery becomes non-negotiable at this level. The higher the responsibility, the calmer the nervous system must become. There will be moments when you feel tired of being strong. This is normal. Strength was never meant to be dramatic. It was meant to be consistent. Responsibility is not about heroic moments. It is about quiet consistency over time. Doing what needs to be done even when it is boring, even when it is lonely, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. You are learning that leadership begins internally. Before you can lead situations, opportunities, or people, you must lead yourself. This leadership is invisible, but it is powerful. It shows in how you manage your mornings, how you handle stress, how you respond to failure, how you treat people when you have nothing to gain from them. Responsibility sharpens your character, because character is what remains when external motivation fades. As responsibility increases, so does your need for structure. Routine becomes sacred. Discipline becomes protective. Without structure, responsibility becomes overwhelming. With structure, it becomes purposeful. You are no longer waiting for inspiration. You create conditions that support consistency. This is not rigidity. This is respect for your own capacity. God does not give responsibility to break you. He gives it to reveal you, to show you what you are capable of when excuses are removed and focus is sharpened. You are not being asked to carry everything at once. You are being asked to carry it properly. One decision at a time, one day at a time, one responsibility honored fully. Before taking on the next, there is a maturity forming in you now that cannot be rushed. Maturity is not about age. It is about accountability. It is about being able to say, "This is mine to handle," without resentment, without blame, without fear. When you reach this stage, life begins to respond differently to you. Opportunities align. Respect follows, not because you demand it, but because your presence carries stability. Responsibility also humbles you. It shows you how much there is still to learn. It removes arrogance and replaces it with attentiveness. You listen more, you observe more, you act less impulsively. You understand that every action is a vote for the kind of life you are building. This awareness changes how you move through the world. When God says congratulations at this stage, it is not for surviving anymore. It is for being trusted. Trust is earned through consistency, restraint, and integrity. You have demonstrated these qualities quietly, without needing recognition. And now, the weight you carry is no longer a burden. It is a confirmation that you are ready. Do not rush to lighten this weight. Strengthen yourself to carry it well. Walk steadily. Breathe deeply. Stay grounded. Responsibility is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your true role. You survived what was meant to break you, and this truth is not poetic language. It is an observable fact written into your body, your breath, your posture, and your silence. There were moments when life applied pressure in ways that felt personal, unfair, and relentless. Moments when you questioned not only your direction, but your own worth. Yet here you are, still breathing, still aware, still capable of choosing the next step. Survival is not passive. Survival is an active, moment-by-moment decision to remain present when escape feels easier. Most people misunderstand strength. They believe strength is loud, aggressive, visible. But real strength is quiet. It is the ability to stay when everything inside you wants to run. It is the discipline to stand upright internally, even when the external world is collapsing. There were days when waking up already felt like defeat. Your body moved, but your spirit felt heavy. You carried responsibilities while feeling empty. You smiled while your mind was screaming. No one applauded you for those moments. No one saw the internal negotiations you made just to keep going. Yet those were the moments that forged something rare inside you. Pressure reveals structure. Weak structures collapse. Strong structures adapt. You adapted. You learned how to breathe underwater. You learned how to carry pain without letting it poison your actions. This is not accidental. This is earned. What tried to break you did not arrive to destroy you. It arrived to test your foundation. Every challenge asked the same question again and again: will you abandon yourself or will you stay? And every time you stayed, something inside you aligned. You did not always stay perfectly. Sometimes you doubted, sometimes you fell, sometimes you lost direction, but you returned, and returning is the mark of mastery. Falling is human, refusing to rise is optional. You chose to rise, even when you rose slowly, even when you rose without confidence. That still counts. That counts more than dramatic success. Endurance is not about tolerating pain endlessly. Endurance is about learning how to relate to pain without becoming it. At some point, you stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. When suffering becomes instruction instead of punishment, you stop resisting life and start cooperating with it. Resistance drains energy. Cooperation builds power. You learn this through experience, not theory. That is why it is embedded deeply within you now. Look carefully at who you were before the storms and who you are after. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You react less, but when you act, it is precise. You tolerate less nonsense, not because you are bitter, but because you respect your energy. These are not coincidences. These are the signatures of someone who has been tested and refined. Life stripped away what was unnecessary. Illusions fell apart. Attachments loosened. What remained was essential. Many people break internally long before life defeats them. They allow disappointment to harden into resentment. They allow failure to turn into identity. They allow fear to dictate their posture toward the world. You stood at that edge too. You felt the pull, but something within you refused to collapse. That something is not ego. It is not pride. It is inner alignment. It is the quiet understanding that pain is temporary, but character compounds. You chose character, even when no reward was visible. God does not congratulate comfort. Comfort requires no courage. Comfort demands no growth. Comfort keeps you exactly where you are. God congratulates endurance because endurance reshapes the soul. Every silent battle you fought strengthened your internal spine. Every moment you kept going without certainty trained your nervous system to remain calm under pressure. This is a form of intelligence. This is why chaos no longer controls you the way it once did. You have already been through storms that taught you how to anchor yourself. You were not being punished when things slowed down. You were not being ignored when doors stayed closed. You were not forgotten when progress felt invisible. You were being shaped in ways that shortcuts cannot replicate. Some lessons must be lived, not explained. Some strength can only be built through repetition under resistance. Life placed weight on you not to crush you, but to train you, and you adapted to that weight. You learned how to distribute it. You learned where to place your feet internally so you would not fall. Think of how many versions of yourself had to die so this version could exist. Old expectations, old identities, old timelines, old dependencies. Letting go is painful because it feels like loss, but often it is liberation disguised as grief. You learn to let go without becoming empty. You learn to release without becoming bitter. That balance is rare. Most people either cling and suffer or detach and harden. You found the middle path. That is wisdom. There were moments when you felt unseen, unsupported, misunderstood. Moments when you carried responsibility alone. Those moments trained your independence. Not the loud independence that rejects help, but the quiet independence that knows it can survive without validation. When approval is removed, essence remains. You discovered who you are without applause. That discovery is priceless. Once you know you can stand alone, relationships become choices instead of necessities. Work becomes expression instead of survival. Life becomes participation instead of resistance. Survival changed your relationship with fear. Fear still appears, but it no longer commands you. You recognize it as a signal, not a ruler. You learn that fear is loud when you are unprepared and quiet when you are grounded. Preparation is internal before it is external. You built that internal preparation through repetition, patience, and humility. You stopped demanding guarantees before taking steps. You moved even when clarity was incomplete. That is courage in its purest form. You also learned restraint. When life was unfair, you did not become cruel. When you were hurt, you did not turn destructive. You learned how to hold intensity without leaking it onto others. This is emotional discipline. This is leadership of the self. Anyone can react. Few can respond. Reaction is fast and unconscious. Response is slow and deliberate. You trained yourself to respond. That training happened in moments no one saw, moments when you paused, breathed, and chose differently. What you survived recalibrated your priorities. You no longer chase everything. You choose carefully. You value peace more than noise, depth more than quantity, integrity more than image. These values were not adopted because they sounded good. They were forged through experience. When life strips you down, it teaches you what actually matters. And once you know what matters, distraction loses its power. You may not fully realize it yet, but your nervous system is stronger now. You can sit with discomfort without panicking. You can face uncertainty without collapsing. You can hold space for difficulty without losing yourself. This capacity will serve you in ways you cannot yet imagine. The future will ask more of you, not less. But it will feel different because you are different. You are no longer fragile in the same way. You bend, but you do not break. Surviving did not make you superior. It made you grounded. It humbled you. It softened your judgment of others. You understand now that everyone is carrying something unseen. This understanding did not come from theory. It came from walking through your own darkness. Compassion born from experience is stable. It does not fluctuate with mood. It becomes part of how you move through the world. When God says congratulations, it is not celebrating the end of hardship. It is acknowledging your transformation. It is recognizing that you did not abandon your values under pressure, that you did not lose your humanity in the process of survival, that you did not allow pain to make you small. You expanded under pressure. You became more than you were. And this expansion cannot be undone. You are not here by accident. You are here because you endured, because you adapted, because you stayed conscious when unconsciousness was tempting, because you chose growth over bitterness again and again. This is why you can stand here now with quiet confidence, not arrogance, not entitlement, just grounded awareness. What is coming next will require this version of you, not the old one. That is why you had to survive what you did. Not to prove anything to the world, but to prepare your inner structure. You are no longer the person who asks life for permission. You are the person who meets life with readiness. You survived what was meant to break you. And because of that, you now carry a strength that does not need to announce itself. A strength that does not seek validation. A strength that simply exists, steady and present. This is why today is a congratulations. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are still here, still aligned, still moving forward. And that is enough. Delay is not denial, it is alignment. And this understanding only comes after you have waited long enough for impatience to exhaust itself. At first, delay feels like rejection. It feels personal. You look at others moving ahead, receiving what you asked for, achieving what you worked toward, and your mind begins to create stories. You wonder if you are unworthy, if you missed your chance, if life skipped your name. These thoughts arise naturally when timing does not match expectation. But expectation is formed by desire, not by wisdom. Wisdom is formed by observation, endurance, and timing. When something does not arrive when you want it, the mind reacts with tension. That tension creates suffering. But delay itself is neutral. It does not carry judgment. It does not carry intention to harm. It is simply space. And space is necessary for structure. If everything you desired arrived immediately, you would never grow into the capacity to hold it. You would receive gifts with hands that cannot carry weight. Life is precise. It gives according to readiness, not according to urgency. You asked for things before you had the internal discipline to sustain them. You wanted outcomes without fully understanding their consequences. This is not failure. This is being human. We often want the reward without realizing the responsibility attached to it. Delay is life protecting both the gift and you. It is alignment happening quietly, invisibly, while you believe nothing is happening at all. There were moments when waiting made you restless. You tried to force progress. You pushed doors that would not open. You overthought. You doubted your path. But every time you tried to rush, you felt resistance. That resistance was not punishment. It was feedback. Life communicates through resistance. When something flows, it is aligned. When it resists, it is not yet time or not yet you. Learning to listen to this language takes maturity. You are learning it now. Alignment is internal before it becomes external. While you were waiting, your character was adjusting. Your patience was being tested. Your ego was being challenged. Your attachment to outcomes was being softened. These changes are subtle, but they are essential. Without them, success would destabilize you. Power without grounding creates chaos. Visibility without inner clarity creates confusion. Influence without restraint creates destruction. Delay ensures balance. You may not see it clearly yet, but you are not the same person who first asked for what you desire. Your motivations have changed. Your reasons have matured. What once came from insecurity now comes from purpose. What once came from comparison now comes from inner direction. This shift matters. Life responds not only to what you want, but to why you want it. Alignment means your desire and your character are now moving in the same direction. Think about how many times you would have misused what you were asking for if it had arrived earlier. Think about the emotional state you were in, the fears you carried, the unhealed patterns, the need for validation. Delay prevented damage you could not see at the time. This is not something the ego likes to hear, but the ego is not meant to lead. The ego wants speed. The soul wants stability. Waiting teaches you how to stand without leaning on outcomes. When nothing happens externally, you are forced to face yourself. You cannot distract yourself with achievement. You cannot hide behind progress. You must sit with uncertainty. This is uncomfortable, but it is powerful. Most people avoid this phase by constantly moving, constantly chasing, constantly consuming. You stayed. You endured the stillness. That stillness refined you. There is a difference between wanting something and being ready for it. Readiness is quiet. It does not announce itself. It feels like calm acceptance rather than desperate urgency. At some point, you stopped begging life and started preparing yourself. That moment changed everything. Preparation is a signal of respect. When you prepare, you tell life you are serious, not emotional, not impulsive, serious. Delay also teaches trust, not blind trust, but grounded trust. Trust built on experience. You have seen that rushing often leads to regret. You have seen that forcing outcomes leads to exhaustion. Through repetition, you learn that timing matters more than intensity. This understanding cannot be taught through words alone. It must be lived. You lived it. Alignment often requires things to fall apart first. Old plans dissolve. Old identities no longer fit. Old timelines collapse. This feels like loss, but it is reorganization. Life removes what no longer aligns so something more fitting can emerge. If nothing was delayed, nothing would be questioned. If nothing was questioned, nothing would improve. Delay forces reassessment. It asks you to refine your direction. You may have noticed that during the waiting, your tolerance for chaos decreased. You became more selective. You stopped chasing distractions. You started valuing peace. This is alignment. When your inner world becomes orderly, your outer world follows. but the inner world must come first. Delay gives you time to clean internally before you receive externally. Many people receive what they want and then lose themselves trying to maintain it. You were spared from that. You were given time to develop stability before expansion. Expansion without stability creates collapse. Life is intelligent. It does not build skyscrapers on weak foundations. It reinforces the ground first. You are in that reinforcement phase. At some point, you realize that not everything you desire deserves pursuit. Some desires fade when examined closely. Delay revealed which desires were genuine and which were reactions. This clarity saves years of wasted effort. When the time comes, you will move with precision, not confusion. You will choose with awareness, not impulse. Alignment also means that other elements must come together. Other people must grow. Other circumstances must shift. Other lessons must be completed. You are not the only variable in your life. Delay accounts for complexity beyond your control. This realization humbles the ego. It teaches cooperation instead of control. Control creates tension. Cooperation creates flow. You were not being ignored during the waiting. You were being observed. Not judged, but observed. Life watches how you behave when nothing is happening. Do you become bitter? Do you become reckless? Do you abandon your values? Or do you remain disciplined, focused, respectful of your process? These moments reveal your true relationship with yourself. You showed consistency. That matters. When alignment is complete, things move quickly. What felt stuck for years can change in days. But this speed only happens after preparation. From the outside, it looks sudden. From the inside, it feels earned. You will recognize the moment when resistance disappears, when effort feels lighter, when action feels natural. That is alignment revealing itself. Delay trained you to detach from outcomes while remaining committed to effort. This balance is rare. Most people either detach completely and become passive, or attach excessively and become anxious. You learned the middle path. You act without desperation. You wait without resignation. This internal posture is powerful. You are closer now than you think. Not because time has passed, but because alignment has deepened. You are no longer trying to prove yourself to life. You are meeting life as a participant, not a petitioner. This shift changes how opportunities respond to you. When what you asked for arrives, it will not overwhelm you. It will integrate. It will feel like a continuation, not a disruption. You will recognize it as something that belongs to you, not something you must defend. This sense of belonging only comes through alignment. Delay was not wasted time. It was training. It was refinement. It was correction. It was protection. It removed what was unnecessary and strengthened what remained. You are now capable of receiving without losing balance. So when you look back, do not regret the waiting. Respect it. It was shaping you into someone who can move forward with clarity, restraint, and purpose. Delay did not deny you. It prepared you. And because of that preparation, when the next door opens, you will walk through it calmly, steadily, without fear of collapse. Discipline made you worthy of the next level, not because discipline is harsh, but because discipline is honest. It is the practice of choosing what matters over what feels good in the moment. Most people confuse discipline with punishment. They see it as restriction, as loss, as something imposed from the outside. But true discipline is self-respect in action. It is the ability to govern your impulses instead of being governed by them. This is what elevated you when no one was watching. The world celebrates motivation because motivation is loud and inspiring. It creates emotional spikes. It feels powerful. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes with mood, environment, and energy. Discipline stays. Discipline operates quietly, without drama. It does not require excitement. It requires commitment. You learned this through repetition, not theory. You showed up even when you did not feel inspired. You continued even when progress was slow. That consistency built a foundation that motivation alone could never create. When no one was watching, you made small choices that shaped your future. You chose to rest instead of escape. You chose to reflect instead of react. You chose restraint when indulgence was easier. These moments may seem insignificant, but they accumulate. Character is built through accumulation. One disciplined choice rarely changes a life, but thousands of them reshape it completely. You stayed with the process long enough for this accumulation to take effect. Discipline trained your mind to tolerate discomfort without immediately seeking relief. This is critical. Most destructive behaviors are not driven by desire, but by the inability to sit with discomfort. People escape into distractions, addictions, and chaos because they cannot remain still with their own unease. You learned how to remain. You learned how to breathe through discomfort. You learned how to delay gratification without becoming resentful. This ability separates those who grow from those who repeat the same cycles endlessly. You also learned that discipline is not rigid. It is adaptive. It listens. It adjusts. It does not break you. It supports you. When you were exhausted, discipline taught you to rest intentionally, not to quit. When you were overwhelmed, discipline taught you to simplify, not to collapse. This nuance matters. Rigid discipline creates burnout. Intelligent discipline creates sustainability. You developed the intelligent kind. There were many opportunities to choose the easy path, to blame circumstances, to justify stagnation, to say, "This is enough," and stop pushing inwardly. You could have numbed yourself. You could have distracted yourself. You could have lowered your standards. No one would have stopped you. But you did not. You maintained a quiet contract with yourself. That contract said, "I will not betray my potential just to feel comfortable today." This promise became your anchor. Discipline also refined your relationship with time. You stopped rushing. You stopped panicking about being behind. You understood that steady progress compounds. You became less reactive to urgency and more responsive to priorities. This shift changed how you moved through your days. You invested your energy more carefully. You protected your focus. Focus is a form of discipline. It is the refusal to scatter yourself across too many things. You learned how to concentrate. While others sought shortcuts, you accepted the long path. While others chased intensity, you chose consistency. This is not glamorous, but it is effective. Shortcuts create fragile success. Consistency creates stable growth. Life rewards stability. It trusts those who can maintain balance under pressure. Discipline proved that you could be trusted with more. You learned to say no. This is a discipline many avoid. Saying no means disappointing others. It means missing out. It means being misunderstood. But it also means protecting your direction. Every no you said preserved energy for a deeper yes. This selective engagement sharpened your path. You stopped leaking energy into things that did not align with your values. This conservation of energy made you stronger without requiring more effort. Discipline also changed how you relate to failure. Instead of dramatizing mistakes, you studied them. Instead of shaming yourself, you corrected yourself. This approach keeps growth sustainable. Self-punishment weakens resolve. Self-correction strengthens it. You learn to observe your behavior objectively, without ego or self-hatred. This level of self-honesty is rare. It allows continuous improvement without emotional collapse. You stopped waiting to feel ready. Discipline taught you to act responsibly even when confidence was incomplete. Confidence grows from action, not the other way around. You did not wait for perfect conditions. You worked with what you had. This practicality grounded you. You became reliable to yourself. Reliability builds trust. When you trust yourself, fear loses influence. Discipline also softened your need for external validation. When your standards come from within, applause becomes optional. You stopped needing recognition to continue. This independence is freedom. Many people are trapped by the need to be seen. You learn to work in silence. Silence builds depth. Depth attracts opportunities naturally, without force. The next level in life does not demand more talent. It demands more responsibility. Discipline is what makes responsibility manageable. Without discipline, responsibility feels heavy and overwhelming. With discipline, it feels structured and clear. You have built the internal systems needed to handle complexity. This is why you are ready to move forward. You may not feel extraordinary, and that is a good sign. Discipline removes the need to feel special. It replaces emotion with function. You do not need to be extraordinary to be effective. You need to be consistent, grounded, and clear. You have become these things. Discipline also aligned your actions with your values. You are no longer split internally. What you believe and what you do are closer now. This integration reduces inner conflict. When inner conflict decreases, energy increases. You feel more stable, more present, more capable. This stability is attractive to life. It signals readiness. While others waited for life to change, you changed how you showed up to life. This is the core of discipline. It does not wait for circumstances. It works with reality. Reality always wins. Discipline respects this and adapts accordingly. Because of discipline, your progress may look slow from the outside, but it is deep. Deep roots support tall growth. When expansion comes, it will not uproot you. You will not lose yourself. You will not panic. You will adjust calmly. This is what makes you worthy of the next level. Not worthy in a moral sense, worthy in a structural sense. You have built the internal framework required to hold more without breaking. Discipline did not make you rigid. It made you reliable. It did not make you cold. It made you clear. It did not limit you. It prepared you. And preparation is what separates who receive from those who collapse under what they receive. You are ready because you trained when no one was watching. When God gives a last and final warning, it does not arrive with chaos, noise, or panic. It arrives with stillness. This is the part most people misunderstand. They expect fear, thunder, punishment, or sudden destruction. But the deepest warnings are quiet, because by the time a final warning is given, the soul has already been spoken to many times. Silence is not absence. Silence is wait. It is the pause before a door closes, the breath before a choice becomes permanent. A final warning is not anger. It is restraint. It is mercy holding itself back for one last moment. Fear is loud. Mercy is calm. When God warns you finally, it is because love refuses to abandon you without clarity. Love does not scream endlessly. Love communicates truth and then steps aside to let you choose. This is why the warning feels heavy instead of dramatic. It sits inside you. It does not rush you. It waits. It watches. It allows you to see yourself clearly, without excuses, without distractions, without emotional noise. Many people think they have not been warned because nothing external has collapsed yet. They believe warning comes only when life explodes. But the most dangerous misunderstanding is this: destruction is not the warning. Destruction is what comes after warnings are ignored. The warning is the discomfort you feel when you repeat a habit you know is wrong. The warning is the tiredness in your spirit when you chase things that no longer fulfill you. The warning is the quiet knowing that you are wasting strength, time, and potential, yet continuing anyway. God's final warning often feels gentle because it respects your free will. Force would remove choice. Fear would remove growth. But mercy allows you to decide who you will become. This is why the warning does not drag you. It invites you. It says, without words, you already know. Now act. And that knowing is heavier than any punishment because you cannot escape it. You can distract yourself, but you cannot unknow truth once it has been revealed. In disciplined paths like Shaolin training, a master does not constantly shout corrections. In the beginning, guidance is frequent. Instructions are repeated. Corrections are made again and again. But as the student grows, the corrections decrease. Silence increases. This is not abandonment. This is trust. The master is saying, you know the form now. Your body knows. Your mind knows. If you choose to be lazy, That choice belongs to you. God's final warning works the same way. It is given when you already possess enough awareness to change. Mercy does not mean removing consequences. Mercy means delaying them so wisdom still has a chance. A final warning is time being generous one last time. It is life saying, I will not force pain to teach you unless you refuse to learn voluntarily. This is why ignoring mercy is more dangerous than facing hardship. Hardship can break you open. Ignored mercy hardens you. It trains you to live disconnected from truth. There is a deep compassion inside a final warning. It acknowledges your struggles. It understands your confusion. It sees your fear, your attachment, your resistance, and yet it does not lower the standard. Mercy does not say, it's okay to stay weak. Mercy says, I believe you are capable of more, and this is your last chance to prove it to yourself. Most people want endless patience from God, but refuse discipline for themselves. They want infinite chances without internal change. But patience without growth becomes delay, and delay without awareness becomes decay. The final warning is mercy saying, I will not enable your self-destruction any longer. That is not cruelty. That is protection of your higher self. When you feel this warning, it often shows up as clarity rather than emotion. You suddenly see your life as it is, not as you explain it. You see the gap between your potential and your behavior. You see where you compromise, where you choose comfort over integrity, where you trade long-term strength for short-term relief. And this seeing is painful, not because it hurts you, but because it removes your excuses. Mercy exposes truth gently, but firmly. God does not warn because he wants to scare you into obedience. He warns because he respects you enough to be honest. He warns because love does not lie to keep you comfortable. Love tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And the final warning is the most honest moment of all, because it says, after this, I will allow your choices to fully shape your destiny. This is why the warning feels final, not because hope ends, but because responsibility begins. Up until this moment, you could say you didn't know. After this moment, you cannot. Awareness changes everything. Once awareness arrives, neutrality disappears. You are either aligned or resisting. You are either rising or falling. There is no middle ground anymore. In this sense, the final warning is a gift, a rare one. It gives you the dignity of choice before consequences become unavoidable. It gives you the chance to step into discipline before life uses pain as a teacher. Pain teaches too, but pain is expensive. Mercy is economical. It saves you from unnecessary suffering if you are willing to listen. The tragedy is that many people mistake mercy for permission. They think, nothing happened yet, so I'm safe. They confuse patience with approval. But silence after a warning is not agreement. It is space. Space for you to act. Space for you to prove that awareness has matured into action. Space for you to choose strength voluntarily. A final warning is not about God stepping away. It is about God stepping back so you can step forward. Growth cannot be forced. Awakening cannot be dragged out of you. It must be chosen. And mercy honors that process, even if it means allowing you to fall when you refuse to stand. This is why the warning does not beg. It does not argue. It does not negotiate. It simply arrives, clear and calm, and waits. It respects your intelligence. It respects your soul. It assumes you are capable of responsibility. And that assumption is the highest form of respect. If you are feeling this warning now, it means you are not lost. It means you are being trusted. Trusted with awareness. Trusted with choice. Trusted with the power to redirect your life. That is mercy. Not softness, but strength offered quietly. The final warning is love standing at the edge, saying nothing more needs to be explained. The truth has already been spoken. The rest is up to you. Life is not cruel, and it is not random. It is precise. It does not punish you out of anger, and it does not reward you out of favoritism. Life teaches. And when a lesson is not learned, life does not shout louder, it repeats itself. This is the truth most people avoid, because repetition exposes responsibility. If something keeps happening, it is not because the world is against you. It is because you are being asked to grow in a way you are resisting. You may change places, people, jobs, environments, even prayers, but the lesson follows. It wears different faces, but it carries the same message, the same emotional pain, the same frustration, the same ending. And every time it returns, it asks quietly, "Did you understand this time?" Most people answer by blaming circumstances. But life listens only to awareness, not excuses. God's final warning comes when repetition has gone on long enough. When the same patterns have shown up so many times that ignorance is no longer honest. By then, you cannot say you didn't see it coming. You felt it before each fall. You sensed it before each mistake. You knew the outcome before you chose the action. That knowing is the sign that the lesson has already been taught. Now it must be learned. In disciplined traditions like Shaolin training, repetition is sacred. A single movement is practiced thousands of times, not because the body is slow, but because mastery requires deep integration. But there is a difference between conscious repetition and unconscious repetition. Conscious repetition builds skill. Unconscious repetition builds suffering. When you repeat a mistake without reflection, you are not training, you are damaging yourself. Life repeats lessons until awareness replaces habit. Pain is not sent to hurt you. Pain is sent to interrupt you, to stop you from continuing blindly. But if you ignore the interruption, pain has to become stronger to get your attention. This is not cruelty. This is escalation caused by resistance. And the final warning arrives when life is saying, "I will not soften this lesson again." Many people pray for change while repeating the same behaviors. They ask God to remove outcomes without removing causes. They want different results without different discipline. But prayer without action becomes self-deception. Faith without alignment becomes noise. God does not override the laws of growth just because you are tired. Growth demands participation. The repeated lesson is often simple, which is why the ego resists it. It may be about self-control, honesty, discipline, patience, humility, or courage. Not dramatic things, basic things. The basics are hardest because they require daily commitment, not emotional highs. And humans love intensity but avoid consistency. You may notice that the lesson repeats faster now. The time between mistakes is shorter. The consequences feel closer. This is not because life is rushing to punish you. It is because time is no longer interested in negotiating. The more awareness you gain, the faster consequences arrive. This is a sign of growth, not decline. But it also means you can no longer hide behind delay. God's final warning is often this acceleration. Life saying, "We have gone over this enough times." The same relationship patterns, the same financial struggles, the same internal battles, the same promises broken to yourself. At some point, repetition stops being a lesson and becomes a verdict. And mercy wants to stop it before it reaches that point. In Shaolin philosophy, the body learns before the mind accepts. You may intellectually understand the lesson long before you embody it. You may speak wisdom while living contradiction. This inner split is exhausting. And repeated lessons are life's way of forcing alignment between what you know and how you live. The pain comes from misalignment, not from the lesson itself. You cannot outrun a lesson by changing locations. You cannot silence it with distractions. You cannot drown it with pleasure. The lesson waits patiently because it is part of your growth. It belongs to you. And the longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes because it collects interest. Each repetition adds weight. This is why the final warning feels serious. It is life saying, "I will no longer dilute this message." Not because you are hated, but because you are capable. Repetition ends only when responsibility begins. And responsibility is uncomfortable because it removes victimhood. It removes the story that something outside of you is in control. God does not repeat lessons to humiliate you. He repeats them to strengthen you. But strength is built only when you stop negotiating with truth, when you stop saying, later, when you stop saying, one more time won't matter. Repetition continues as long as compromise exists. There is a moment when you realize the lesson is not external. It is internal. The people are mirrors. The situations are reflections. The world is responding to your level of discipline, awareness, and integrity. This realization is painful because it gives you power, and power means responsibility. The final warning arrives when you are strong enough to carry that responsibility, even if you don't feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision, and God does not wait for comfort. He waits for willingness. If you continue to ignore the lesson after the final warning, life will still teach, but the method will change. Gentle repetition becomes firm correction. Firm correction becomes unavoidable consequence, not as revenge, but as completion. A lesson must end somehow, either through wisdom or through loss. This is why this moment matters. Because you are being asked to learn consciously instead of painfully, to choose discipline instead of damage, to end the cycle voluntarily instead of being forced out of it. Repetition is not a curse, it is an invitation. But invitations expire, and when they do, the door does not disappear, the path simply becomes harder. God's final warning is saying, learn now, while learning is still gentle. If you listen, the repetition ends. If you resist, it intensifies. The choice is quiet, but the outcome is loud. When a final warning arrives, the correct response is not emotion. Emotion rises and falls. Fear fades. Motivation burns fast and disappears. What remains, what actually changes a life, is discipline. Discipline is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It does not wait for inspiration. Discipline moves even when the mind resists. That is why discipline is the only true response to a final warning. Everything else is temporary. Most people respond to warnings with promises. They say they will change. They feel serious for a moment. They feel guilty. They feel inspired. But feelings are unstable. They cannot carry transformation. God does not ask for feelings. God asks for alignment. And alignment is built through disciplined action, repeated daily, without negotiation. A final warning is the end of emotional excuses. It is the moment where life says, I am not interested in how you feel about this anymore. I am interested in what you do. Discipline is respect in action. It is you saying, through behavior, that you value life, time, and purpose more than comfort. In Shaolin practice, discipline is the foundation of freedom. Without discipline, the body is weak, the mind is chaotic, and the spirit is scattered. With discipline, even simple movements become powerful. The monk does not train when he feels like it. He trains because training is who he is. This is the mindset the final warning demands from you. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. It protects you from your lower impulses. It protects you from repeating the same mistakes. It protects your future from your present weaknesses. Without discipline, warnings mean nothing. With discipline, even small changes create massive shifts. The final warning means there is no more time for half effort. No more doing things when possible. No more waiting for the right mood. Discipline begins the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. When you say, this is non-negotiable, sleep discipline, food discipline, speech discipline, thought discipline, association discipline. Most people think discipline is restriction. In reality, indiscipline is the real prison. When you cannot control your urges, your attention, your habits, you are owned by them. Discipline gives you ownership back. It restores authority over your own life. That is why God's warning points you toward discipline, not comfort. A disciplined life does not need constant warnings. It self-corrects. When you live with structure, you notice misalignment early. You adjust before damage accumulates. This is wisdom in motion. But when discipline is absent, misalignment grows unnoticed until consequences are unavoidable. The final warning exists because discipline has been delayed too long. Discipline requires immediate action, not gradual intention. You do not slowly stop self-destruction. You stop. You do not slowly begin respect for your body. You decide and act. Delay is another form of refusal, and refusal after awareness leads to consequence. In Shaolin teaching, the body is trained first because the body does not lie. You can deceive your mind with stories, but the body reflects truth instantly. If you are undisciplined, your posture collapses, your breath weakens, your energy scatters. Discipline straightens the spine, steadies the breath, sharpens the presence. This physical alignment influences the mind, and the mind influences the spirit. God's final warning often pushes you towards structure because structure removes excuses. Wake at the same time, train at the same time, eat with awareness, speak with intention, remove unnecessary stimulation. Simplicity strengthens discipline, complexity weakens it. Many people say they are overwhelmed, but what they really lack is order. Discipline creates order. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates peace. Peace creates strength. This is the chain that transforms a warning into a breakthrough. Discipline also requires sacrifice. Some pleasures must go. Some people must be distanced. Some habits must die, not because they are evil, but because they are misaligned with who you are becoming. The final warning is permission to let go without guilt. It is life saying, you no longer need this. God does not demand perfection. He demands seriousness. Seriousness is visible in consistency. When you are serious, your actions change immediately, not eventually. Your schedule reflects your values. Your energy is no longer scattered everywhere. Your life becomes quieter, but stronger. The final warning is not asking you to become extreme. It is asking you to become precise. Precision in thought, precision in action, precision in choices. Small disciplined actions done daily will save you from large painful corrections later. Discipline is the bridge between awareness and destiny. Without it, awareness becomes frustration. With it, awareness becomes power. God's final warning is a call to cross that bridge now, while it is still intact. If you respond with discipline, the warning dissolves. It does not need to continue. If you respond with emotion, it fades and returns stronger. Life listens to action. God listens to obedience expressed through effort. This moment is asking you to become reliable to yourself, to do what you say you will do, to live in a way that no longer requires warnings. Discipline is not harsh. Regret is harsh. Discipline is light compared to the weight of repeated failure. The final warning is an opportunity to choose the lighter path. Once discipline begins, fear leaves, confusion clears, strength grows quietly, and the warning, having fulfilled its purpose, turns into guidance. This is the power of discipline. This is why it is the only true response.